Chapter 1. The Arrival. The rain had followed Julien for 3 towns. It wasn't heavy, just persistent. A curtain of fine mist that blurred the roads and left his windows smeared with longing. The countryside was quiet as he drove, except for the occasional crow and the steady hum of his old car. When he saw the house for the first time, it looked exactly as he remembered it in the photo. A 2-story Victorian home, veiled in ivy and shadow, standing alone at the end of a gravel road. Julien stepped out, key in hand, and the first thing he noticed was the stillness. Not quiet, still, as though even time refused to tick within its walls. The agent had told him the house had been abandoned for decades, left untouched after the last owner disappeared. Julien, in a bid to escape his own ghosts, had bought it without ever stepping inside. He didn't know what drew him here, only that when he saw the listing, something stirred deep in his chest. As he pushed open the creaking door, a wave of cool air swept past him. The scent was immediate: old wood, rain-soaked paper, and a whisper of something floral, faded completely. He paused in the entryway, letting the silence press against his skin. Then, the clocks. There were 3 in the front hall alone: an old grandfather clock near the stairs, a mantel clock above the fireplace, and a small porcelain one atop the bookcase, each frozen at precisely 3:03. Julien frowned. Upstairs, the floorboards moaned beneath his steps as he explored. The rooms were as the photos showed: dust-covered, elegant, but forgotten. Lace curtains still hung in the windows. A half-packed suitcase sat at the foot of the bed, yellowed letters tucked beneath it. He didn't touch them. It wasn't until he reached the second-floor study that the strangeness hit him. On the far wall hung a large framed photograph, sepia tone, faded. A woman stood on the porch of his very house, back straight, expression unreadable. Her dress fluttered slightly as it caught in the breeze. Julien moved closer. The frame shuddered. A moment later, it fell. Julien stared at the broken glass, heart He blinked, and she was gone. The silence returned, heavier now. And in that silence, Julien whispered the first words he'd spoken aloud in the house. "Hello?" No answer. But upstairs, a door creaked open on its own.
Chapter 2. The Mirror Room. Julien didn't want to go back upstairs, not right away. But the house didn't care what he wanted. The creaking door called to him in a way that was hard to ignore. He moved slowly, each step on the staircase protesting like an old memory. At the end of the hallway, past the bedrooms and the study, he found the door slightly ajar. It hadn't been opened before. The room inside was small, barely larger than a walk-in closet, but the air within it was cooler, denser, like a vault sealed long ago. The mirror was the only thing inside, tall, arched and ringed in an ornate iron frame that had rusted in delicate lines. A sheet had once covered it, now balled on the floor beside it like an abandoned curtain call. Julien stepped inside and closed the door behind him. The moment the latch clicked, the air shifted. Not just colder, it felt aware. He stood before the mirror and stared at himself. Or rather, what should have been himself. But something was off. The reflection was him, yes, but he wasn't moving. His chest didn't rise. His eyes didn't blink. Julien raised his right hand slowly. The reflection did not follow. A pulse of cold ran through him. He whispered, "Who are you?" And the figure inside the mirror smiled. It was brief, almost imperceptible, but it was there. Then the reflection moved, not mirroring Julien, but stepping backward, as if retreating into mist. The image of Julien faded like smoke, and in its place appeared a new scene, softly glowing, like a projection. A room, the same room, but lit by candlelight. The wallpaper was fresh, the floor clean, and in the mirror a woman stood brushing her hair. May. Julien didn't know her name yet, but he felt it, just like he felt that he wasn't supposed to see this. She moved slowly, mechanically, like someone half asleep. Her eyes didn't meet the mirror, even though she stood before it. She hummed a song, low, familiar, the same one Julien had heard from nowhere downstairs. Then, abruptly, she stopped. Her hand froze mid-brush. Her eyes turned as if sensing something just beyond the glass, and she looked straight at him. "Can you hear me?" Julien whispered. The woman stepped forward, her movements no longer dreamy, but desperate. Her lips moved. He couldn't hear the words, but he felt them vibrate through the floor. Then the mirror cracked, just a thin line, splitting her image in two. Julien stumbled back. The room seemed to exhale around him. The glow vanished. The reflection returned to normal. Just him, but the crack remained. He turned to leave, his hand on the doorknob. Then he noticed the mirror again. A single word had appeared on the glass, written in condensation that hadn't been there before. "Julien." He stared at it, unblinking. And for the first time, he wondered if the house had been waiting for him. Not anyone else, just him. Chapter 3. The Letters. She never sent Julien woke to the sound of soft rain brushing against the roof, a gentle tapping like someone knocking politely on forgotten windows. The room around him was dim, the kind of gray that seemed to seep into the bones of the house. He didn't remember falling asleep. Only the mirror remained vivid in his mind. The ghostly figure, the whispered voice, and that carved message on the floor. "Don't forget her." By mid-morning, a subtle pull guided him upwards, toward the attic. The stairwell to the attic was narrow and steep, creaking under each cautious step. The air grew colder with every rung climbed, as if the space above had not inhaled warmth in decades. The attic door resisted at first, swollen from age and damp. When it finally gave way, a soft gust of dust greeted him, tasting of time and paper. Inside, the attic was cluttered with old furniture under drapes, brittle suitcases, and crates stacked in quiet disarray. But it was the small wooden trunk by the back wall that drew his attention, unassuming, yet curiously untouched by dust. Julien knelt beside it. The latch clicked open with a sigh. Inside, beneath a layer of yellowed lace and dried lavender, were letters. Dozens of them, tied together with faded blue ribbon. Their envelopes were soft with time, but never stamped, never sealed, never sent. Each was addressed in the same careful handwriting, to Thomas, somewhere, always. Julien picked the top one, fingers trembling slightly. He unfolded the paper. Thin, almost translucent, the ink had faded to brown. July 12th, 1953. My dearest Thomas, today I watched the river again. It's quieter now, like it misses your laughter. I wonder if it still remembers how you used to skip stones until the sun dipped below the trees, or how you said the water whispered more honestly than people ever could. Some days I try to forget, but the house won't let me. It creaks your name in the floorboards. It folds your shape into the curtains when they move in the night. I keep the door to the mirror room closed, but even so, I feel your reflection watching mine. Are you still out there? Do you feel this wherever you are? Or did the river take it all with it, like it did you? With all I have left, May. Julien stared at the page for a long time. May. The name felt like a chord struck gently in the chest. Not sharp, not jarring, but resonant, He didn't know her, yet the words twisted something inside him, as if he'd heard them before. Maybe in a dream he'd forgotten. He read another. September 3rd, 1954. Thomas, they say I should leave this place, but how can I when my ghost never left? I see you in the window at dusk. I hear you humming in the kitchen, that tune neither of us could name but always knew. Some nights I light the candle again, the one we made from beeswax and rosemary. I leave it burning by the mirror, hoping you'll step through, that you'll come back, even if just as shadow and breath. I've started to forget my own face, but yours I could sketch from memory in the dark. There were tears at the edge of Julien's eyes, but they didn't fall. They stayed there, suspended, like time in this attic, like the voice inside the letters waiting decades to be read. He untied the rest, letter after letter, each more aching than the last. But then, something changed. One envelope was different. The paper was heavier, the ink bolder. And unlike the others, this one was sealed. No address, no name, just one line written across the front, for the one who returned. Julien hesitated, heart suddenly loud in his ears. He broke the seal. Inside was only a single sentence, scrawled hastily, as if in a moment of desperation. If you're reading this, then maybe I was right. Maybe love remembers better than death does. And beneath that, in a different handwriting, smaller, messier, almost childlike, you were always meant to come back.